Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This report was written in response to a letter to Council from NewPath requesting relief from taxation that was issued to the property in 2001.
I'll just read the motion first, if you don't mind. I have a motion moved by Councillor Smith and seconded by His Worship Mayor Stevens that this committee recommends to Council a report dated July 7, 2005 from the City Treasurer regarding NewPath Foundation and property tax at 359 West Street North be received as informational. Councillor Spears?
Thanks, Mr. Chair, through you. The tax, the 13,000 or the $12,000 is basically 6 months taxes, is that right? Plus penalties?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, that is correct. The taxes were levied in 2001. Of course, there's a penalty from that date on.
Yeah, and the taxes include both municipal taxes and education?
Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
And finally, they say that the property was assessed again commercially and the 2005 tax is $13,000. Is that just an error, or will they have to pay that?
Mr. Chairman, what we've discovered, or what we appear to have discovered, is that NewPath Foundation now is leasing out some or all of the premises to other parties. So as a result, the assessment now is taxable.
Downey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. So the statement then in their letter of July 5 that they inquired of the tax office, mainly MPAC, not us, but the provincial entity, and the notices would stop is incorrect.
I believe that is incorrect. I believe that the person who gave me the information that the property was being leased was a person from NewPath Foundation. And if it's being leased, the Assessment Act and MPAC would be correct in assessing it as a commercial location.
I guess if I can have a supplementary, I think it's a dangerous precedent for us to be stepping in where provincial legislation sets boundaries and they've chosen to step on one side of them. But at the same time, not to be punitive, I know that they're in a tax sale position, and it'd be my position that we shouldn't be acting on that in the meantime until they get a handle on their situation or given a chance to clean it up.
Any other, Your Worship?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Mr. Ripley. When they acquired the building on February the 15th, 2001, and through to July 17th, 2001, which is the area in question here for taxation, the number has certainly grown dramatically because of interest and penalty on the unpaid taxes of that 5-month period. Have they in any way attempted to talk to you about this during this time frame, or did they just for the most part ignore the fact that this was on the books?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I guess the first contact with NewPath Foundation occurred once the taxes became 3 years in arrears. And at that point in time, of course, we wrote to NewPath telling them that the property was in danger of going to tax sale. And we had some discussion with NewPath at that time. That was last year. Unfortunately, NewPath were to write to council, but there was a miscommunication, and that didn't occur until this year.
Supplementary. If that's the case, then we have automatically sent the ongoing invoices out and the reminders of taxation overdue, taxes being overdue, and they have just ignored that process. Is that based on this? Is that correct?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, until the letter advising that the property was in a tax sale position, they basically had ignored the advices, the notices.
Thank you.
No other questions? All in favor? Oh, sorry, Councillor Garland?
Just with respect to the letter's not really, the report speaks to 2 different amounts on 2 different dates, but the letter only, I gather the letter only speaks to the first amount, or am I misunderstanding that?
Mr. Chairman, Councillor Garland is correct. The letter refers only to the first amount.
So So what we're really asking to be dealt with is the $12,000 from February 15, 2005 to July 17, 2001.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and during this time, were they operating as they suggest, as a non-profit? Was it just so? I guess what I'm asking is, and it may have been asked before, this was just inadvertence on their part.
Mr. Chairman, as the report says, the Assessment Act is clear in the criteria for having a property exemption. New Path did not meet that criteria between February 15th and July 17th, 2001. That's the period of taxation we're dealing with.
Okay,
Subsequent to July 17th, 2001, the property was made exempt until December 31st, 2004.
Okay, but that first initial period, they say in their letter that it was used at that time for nonprofit, right?
Could you repeat that?
That they were saying that from the time I'm trying to find the spot that I read. That the building has not been used for any other purposes and has been tax exempt from the time of the purchase by the New Path Foundation. Thank you. At the point of purchase, New Path was actively engaged at the building in many functions, including, but not exclusively, in renovations to expand the service capacity of the building. Just through you, Mr. Chair, what you're saying is that, like, it seems to be inadvertence, but you're saying that in fact that's incorrect. They were not allowed to have the deduction at that time, or not allowed to have that.
Mr. Chairman, that's correct. We've gone through the law, and the law does not allow the exemption.
Okay, thank you.
No other questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next item, Mr. Dance.